free on the inside, free on the inside. Free on the inside, free on the inside, free on the inside. We free on the inside, free on the inside, free on the inside. You can be free on the inside, free on the inside, free on the inside. Yo, 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 it's me, God's Yo-Yo, better known as Preacher Man, pulling out the keys to the treasure chest once again, hoping to drop a few jewels on you today. The door is open, so let's chop it up. Welcome to Free on the Inside, where God turns water into wine, ordinary into extraordinary, a desert into green pastures. It's me again, your heavenly hero, Preacher Man. And my freedom topic this week is lemons to lemonade. Lemons to lemonade. Listen, life can be bitter, y'all. You may be doing all you can to be fruitful, but all your fruit tastes sour. When you look over your life, does it leave a bad taste in your mouth? When people hear your story, do they twist their face up? Lemon living can quickly turn people away. That's because bitter circumstances can create bitter people. What can you do with a harvest of lemons? When the things you've sown in life, the life you've lived, leaves people sour, how can you change that? Be not discouraged, because lemon living ain't rotten fruit. The fruit is good. It's just at its best when you add something to it. You feel me? Something that can transform sour to sweet. Well, I only know one thing that can turn your lemons into lemonade. That's a relationship with Jesus Christ. The Lord can make your bitter water sweet. The Bible is packed full of lemons that God turned into lemonade. Lemon people and lemon circumstances. Life put the squeeze on them, and they poured out their soul. They didn't stay there, though. God stepped in and sweetened the pot. One great example of this can be found in the 15th chapter of Exodus, verses 22 through 27. God had delivered the Israelites out of Egyptian bondage with a mighty hand, brought them across the Red Sea on dry ground, then closes the sea on Pharaoh and his entire army. When the Israelites leave the Red Sea, they're led into the wilderness of Shur, and for 3 days they can't find any water. When they finally found water, it was so bitter that they actually called the name of the place Mara, meaning bitter. It sucks to be thirsty and you got lemons but don't know what to do with them. The bitter water made the people bitter. They started complaining. Be careful how you label a season before listening to God. Adversity aggravated the people, but it navigated Moses. They complained. Moses prayed. And when Moses looked to God, God showed him a tree. And the Bible says when Moses cast the tree into the waters, the bitter waters were made sweet. Only God has the power and ability to change your season. When the rivers of life are bitter, we have a tree we should look to, the cross of Jesus. Only the cross of Christ can turn your bitter waters sweet and your lemons to lemonade. We see the name Mara or bitter again in the book of Ruth. Ruth had a mother-in-law named Naomi. Naomi had left her hometown due to famine. Then her husband dies. After that, her 2 sons pass away. She feels like she's got nothing left. She still had Ruth, her daughter-in-law, who was also grieving, but loved her enough to stick with her. But bitterness can sometimes blind you of your blessings. When Naomi returns to her hometown of Bethlehem with Ruth, she tells everybody not to call her Naomi anymore, meaning pleasant, but for everyone to call her Mara, because the Lord had dealt very bitterly with her. Even though that's how she saw things to be, and that's how she felt, the Bible doesn't record anyone calling her by that name. The Bible doesn't even call her by that name. She was still called pleasant, still called Naomi, even when she didn't feel pleasant. Through Naomi's guidance, Ruth meets and marries Boaz, and they bless Naomi with a grandchild. She wanted to throw Ruth away because she was so sorrowful, because Ruth reminded her of her pain. But Ruth would ultimately become the main ingredient God would use to refresh Naomi's life. Don't throw away your lemons. Turn to God and trust Him, even when your Mara season is at its worst. He said in Romans 8:28, that all things work together for good to them who love God and are the called according to his purpose. It's working together because God is a master mixer. It might not taste good right now. Let God finish mixing it before you give up. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. The song says, it is the sweetest name I know. Sweet enough to take your lemons and make lemonade. God bless y'all. Thank you for watching Free on the Inside with Preacher Man. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, hit that notification bell. Ring that so you'll know when the next one is dropping. And don't forget to like and share this video. And then play it over and over again like your favorite song. You heard? Peace and blessings.